the return on investment from air scrubbing. As you probably know, air scrubbing is seen as a unnecessary, inconvenient cost by many, but over the last 10, 15 years, we've been working very busy on how we can produce a return on investment from that. So this image that we're looking at the moment is an image of a pig house where we have an air scrubber at the end. So at the top of the roof, there's an exhaust chamber, and the air is going down into the pressure room, into the air scrubber. As part of this process, the warm air is heating the water in the air scrubber. And what we do is we use a plate exchanger to transfer the thermal energy from the wastewater into clean, transportable energy, water, and transport it to a point in the house where we can use it to condition incoming air. So this is very interesting, for example, in a sow production where we have sow houses and piglet nurseries where the piglets need warming in the winter, and there's enough energy coming out of the sow houses to treat that. So looking at this in a little bit more detail, this is just a snapshot recently of a production in the Netherlands where we experienced some very, very cold weeks in the winter. Where on the right you can see we have a source, which is the source of the energy, the wastewater. We're taking that from the scrubber at a temperature of 13.1 degrees. This is transported across the exchanger, and there's a slight drop down to 11.7, and then we take that to the inlet, and the incoming air at this point was minus 8.3. This incoming air is treated. We had a set point of 11.1. We managed to get the preconditioned air to 9.1 degrees. Okay, so that meant the air going into the house was treated to a level which then is supplemented in the first few weeks of the piglets cycle, but it creates a big financial benefit in terms of saving of energy. Down on the left side, you will see that at this particular point in the production, the COP, the transfer efficiency, that's the use of electrical energy to transfer thermal energy, was running at 22 COP, which meant we were using 1 kilowatt of electrical energy to transfer 22.6 kilowatts of thermal energy to a point in the house where we could condition air. Typically in production, because this was in a cold period, probably the system was working on overtime, but in typical cold winters, the average is around 40 to 50 COP. This is just a graph to show through a period of time. The green line is the temperature of the wash water during this period. The red line is what the inlet temperature is, fairly consistent, and then the blue line is the outside temperature. So you see some peaks and drops during the day, but the actual inlet temperature remained pretty consistent. Obviously, providing these energy systems, we are very busy with proving that they work. The benefit is twofold. It is recovering energy and obviously saving money, lowering the carbon footprint. But on the other side, because we commonly see, certainly in Northern Europe, during the cold periods, perhaps climate systems not being run as they should, and therefore creating other challenges for the animals. The thought behind this is that if we can precondition the air, that gives the farmer a lot more flexibility in how they ventilate the house, how they maintain good air condition, and the benefits that they receive from doing that in terms of how the animals perform. So by way of a little bit of proof that how this might work, this is a typical farm in the Netherlands. I think it's 400 sows. The cost of the system was, well, 116,000 euros. And then the savings in terms of energy saving a year was about 10,000, and an extra 10,000 cost of this farm was using a heat pump for, I think it was for heating his delta tubes. And then savings in production in terms of feed improvement, lowering of mortality, etc., was around 16,000 a year. So the farmers, and these were numbers coming from the farmer himself, was probably saving around 30,000 in in energy saving and production improvement, which when you get to match that with the cost of the system, it was a return of about 3.8 years. What we typically see with this system, the return on investment is normally around 4.5, 5 years for most production. In terms of what is the cost of an air scrubber, I was asked this by Ben Williams. We estimate the cost of a sound place in the Netherlands for the investment is around €4,000. And on this particular farm, using this air scrubber, the cost per sound place for the air scrubber was around €100. So in the context of the complete investment, it's a fairly low cost overall for basically producing environmentally friendly animals. Finishers probably around the €50 to €60 a finisher place.